Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And the week of June 22 to 26 is going to be a total disaster because July sweeps is kicking off early this year. So everything is just exploding all at once. But the biggest explosion is happening right inside the DiMera family. A father and son completely torn apart. EJ DiMera is about to be bitterly betrayed by his own flesh and blood. Johnny DiMera is turning on his dad. And it is going to be ugly. So ugly. We have seen DiMera family feuds before, but this one hits different because Johnny is actually a good guy. He is not like EJ. He is not like Stefano. He actually has a conscience, and that conscience is about to blow EJ's entire life into a million little pieces. Just a complete and total disaster for EJ this week. A Shakespearean tragedy playing out right in the middle of Salem, and EJ will never see it coming because he actually trusts Johnny, but that trust is gone, completely gone. So what is this massive betrayal all about? Drugs, tainted drugs, a massive pharmaceutical investigation that is pointing right at DiMera Enterprises, and EJ is right in the middle of it because of course he is. EJ has been running this secret medical lab, playing God, trying to perfect the Versavix resurrection serum to keep Lexi alive. But things got sloppy. The drug mixing got out of hand, and the experimental compounds leaked into the regular pharmaceutical supply chain, and now people are dead. Real, innocent people. Remember Sarah's patient Destiny? She died of a sudden overdose. Her sister died too. And it all links back to the tainted drugs flooding the streets of Salem. Drugs that somehow trace back to EJ's shady, unregulated operations. EJ thought he could cover it up. He thought he could just bury the paperwork and make the problem disappear like he always does. But he was wrong. So very wrong. The truth always comes out. Especially when the body count starts rising. And that is exactly where Brady Black comes into the picture. Brady has been playing private investigator lately, trying to figure out what happened to Destiny to help Sarah. Because Brady and Sarah are falling hard for each other, they just exchanged I love yous. So Brady is highly motivated to solve this case, digging into the dirt, but the dirt got way too deep for just one guy. So Brady brings in the heavy hitter, Steve Johnson, Patch himself. Brady asks Steve for help because this is way bigger than just one random overdose. It is a massive corporate cover-up. A full-blown drug mixing scandal. Black Patch is officially on the case. And they are following the money. Following the chemical trail right to the doors of DiMera Enterprises. Brady is furious. Steve is relentless. And together they are building a case that is going to put EJ behind bars. Or worse, because messing with public health is a federal nightmare. And Steve knows exactly how to track down the hidden ledgers and secret lab reports. But the real kicker is how Johnny gets involved in all of this. Johnny doesn't want to take down his dad. He really doesn't. He has been trying to build a better legacy for the DiMera name, working with Theo, trying to be legitimate and clean up the toxic corporate culture. But the evidence just falls right into his lap. Johnny ends up snooping around the offices, looking at files he probably shouldn't be looking at because he feels like something is wrong, and he connects the dots. He sees the paper trail linking his father to the tainted drug scandal. The realization is absolutely crushing. A bitter pill to swallow. His dad is responsible for innocent people dying. Just to fund his mad science experiments with Dr. Ralph. So Johnny is stuck, caught between loyalty to his blood and doing the right thing. And for DiMera, choosing the right thing is almost impossible. But Johnny is different. He has Sammy's fiery righteousness in him. And we really need to talk about why Johnny is even snooping in the first place. He needs a distraction. A huge distraction. because his personal life is an absolute living nightmare right now. Chanel is so sick. She has malignant breast cancer. She is pregnant. And during this exact same week, the July sweeps kick off, disaster strikes Chanel. She has been doing chemotherapy, and suddenly she starts bleeding. She goes into early labor. It is terrifying, heartbreaking. Johnny is in an absolute panic. He is watching the love of his life and his unborn baby fighting to survive in a hospital bed. The stress is eating him alive. He can't sleep. He can't eat. He feels completely helpless. He can't cure Chanel's cancer. He can't stop the early labor. He just needs to focus on something else. Anything else. So he focuses on work. He focuses on the DiMera numbers. And that is how he finds the dirt on EJ. Channeling his grief and terror into a corporate investigation. So Johnny makes the call. He decides to be the whistleblower. He takes the evidence, the proof of the drug mixing scandal, and he turns on EJ. It is a brutal betrayal. A son handing his father over to the wolves. But Johnny feels like he has absolutely no choice. He has to do the right thing, even if it destroys his father. And EJ is going to be completely blindsided. EJ actually trusts Johnny. He wanted Johnny to be the CEO. He wanted Johnny to rule the empire by his side. But Johnny has no patience left for EJ's toxic, destructive games. Watching Chanel fight for her life has given Johnny a new perspective on how fragile life is. And he refuses to let his father's greed cost any more innocent people their lives. So he takes the files, he takes the proof of the tainted Versavix compounds, and he prepares to burn EJ's empire to the ground. A total disaster for the DiMera patriarch, and EJ's life is just entirely collapsing on every single front. It is not just Johnny betraying him. Everything is falling apart for EJ during this week. Lexi is dying again. The Versavix cure is completely failing. Her neurological symptoms are getting worse, and she ends up hospitalized. Abe is flying into a violent, screaming rage and physically attacking EJ for playing God with Lexi's life. Plus, EJ just kidnapped his own sister, Kristen, because he found out she tried to kill Johnny in that apartment fire with Sophia. So EJ is fighting a war on every single front. He is a cornered animal, desperate, angry, losing control. And now his own son is handing him over to the authorities over a tainted drug scandal. It is a complete and total destruction of EJ DiMera. He thought he was untouchable. He thought he was the smartest guy in the room. But his arrogance is finally catching up to him. But this is what happens when you try to be Stefano DiMera. EJ has been obsessed with living up to his father's legacy, being the ruthless patriarch, but Stefano always knew how to cover his tracks. EJ got sloppy. He let Dr. Rolf run wild in the lab. He let the Versavix experiments contaminate the regular pharmaceutical lines. Or at least he turned a blind eye to it because he was so desperate to cure Lexi. And now innocent people like Destiny are dead. Johnny sees this. Johnny realizes that the DiMera legacy is just a curse. A curse of blood and greed and endless manipulation. And Johnny is breaking the cycle. By turning his father in, Johnny is finally stepping out of Stefano's shadow. He is choosing the light over the darkness. But it comes at a massive cost. The complete destruction of his family and the bitter hatred of his own father. EJ will never forgive this. Never. And we cannot forget about Brady and Steve in all of this. Brady is out for blood. He has been falling in love with Sarah, and Sarah is devastated over losing her patient. So Brady is taking this personally. He and Steve are not going to let EJ wiggle out of this. They are going to take Johnny's evidence and nail EJ to the wall. Steve knows exactly how to build an airtight case. He has been taking down corrupt billionaires for decades. And with Johnny testifying against his own dad, EJ has zero chance of beating this. The Tainted drug scandal is going to be the biggest news story in Salem history. A complete media circus. The FDA, the police, maybe even the ISA will be swarming DiMera Enterprises. And Philip Kyriakis is going to be sweating too, since Gabi just used DiMera money to bail out Titan. The financial fallout is going to ripple across the entire town. Nobody is safe from this mess. So that is exactly where we are heading this week. A massive, bitter, heartbreaking betrayal. A father betrayed by his son. A corporate empire brought to its knees. And a young husband desperately trying to save his sick wife while sending his dad to prison. It is raw. It is messy. It is clunky and chaotic and absolutely unfiltered Salem drama. The kind of stuff that just makes you stare at the screen in total shock. EJ thought he was the king of the world, but kings fall. And usually it is the prince who holds the knife. Johnny DiMera is holding the knife this week, and he is plunging it right into EJ's empire. Just a wild, wild week ahead. We will be watching every single second of it, because you just cannot look away from a train wreck this huge. Salem will never be the same after this drug scandal breaks. And honestly, you have to wonder how EJ is going to retaliate, because EJ DiMera never just goes down quietly. He's going to fight dirty, even against his own son. Will he try to blame the whole tainted drug scandal on Dr. Rolf? Or maybe he will try to pin it on someone else in the company. But Johnny has the paper trail. Johnny has the undeniable proof. So EJ's usual tricks might not work this time. And with Lexi dying and Abe out for his blood, EJ has no allies left. Even Cat Green is secretly working for the ISA and deceiving him. EJ is completely isolated, a king without a kingdom, betrayed by everyone he loves. It is almost sad if he wasn't so incredibly guilty, but that is the soap opera life. You reap what you sow, and EJ is reaping a whole lot of misery right now. So buckle up, because this pharmaceutical investigation is going to change the landscape of Salem forever.